Hey everybody, Johnny Cage here, welcoming you back to another game review. This time we're taking a look at Sunset Riders, developed and published by Konami, released June 8th, 1993 for the Super Nintendo. In Sunset Riders, you play as a group of bounty hunters, running and gunning your way across 8 stages, playing as one of 4 characters with 2-player co-op available if you happen to have a partner along for the ride. You got Steve, which may be the least cowboy name I could think of, Billy, an obvious reference to Billy the Kid, Bob, the bounty hunter with fantastic hair, and Cormano, the sombrero-wearing Mexican, to add some ethnicity to the cast. As you make your way through the stages, you'll come across a couple different power-ups to help you increase your killing power, which can be found by going through doorways and taking out sack-carrying bandits. These include a golden sheriff's badge, which will grant you auto-fire, allowing you to attack by holding down the fire button rather than mashing it, and a silver badge, which will provide you with a second gun. Conveniently, both of these can be equipped at once for maximum damage, even though your standard enemies can be taken out with only a single hit regardless of your damage output. But the same will apply to you, and should you be struck down, you will start right back up where you left off if you have the lives remaining, though you will have lost any power-ups that you had acquired. And while the bandits are easy enough to take out, the real enemy here are the bullets that you'll be dodging, which will progressively speed up as you make your way through the levels, steadily increasing the challenge, though they always remain flashing to help them stand out. Usually in retro-action titles, there isn't much to discuss with the first level or two, as they are typically just generic move to the right and kill everything games. Here though, the first level actually throws just about everything it has to offer at you. We got lots of taverns and other buildings to pop into, picking up those power-ups and some points as we go. Dynamite throwing guys, the explosions of which give off a spectacular boom and fill up a good portion of the screen. You even got the classic Wild West sport of bull running to try your hand at. As you might expect, each level ends with a boss fight, requiring you to pump multiple rounds into the big baddie, while usually dealing with his gang of thugs at the same time. After you finish off one, they will add a bit of flavor dialogue to their demise as you pick up the reward money for taking them out and move right along. You also have a couple auto-scrolling levels here that are about as fun as you would expect. You certainly make avoiding bullets a bit tougher, but I have seen worse, and at least they don't drag on too long. In fact, most levels in the game only take a few minutes, helping to keep the experience staying fresh, and there are even a couple shooting gallery bonus stages just to have some fun with. The difficulty in the game really does start to pick up around the 4th level, which is actually just a single room boss fight where you have to deal with the Smith brothers tossing bombs at you. A real wake-up call that this game was originally designed as a quarter-eating arcade cabinet. Persist through this stage though, and it's on to the second half of the game, where we get word that there's a big bounty out for the rich and elegant outlaw Sir Richard Rose. Of course, to get to him, we must make it through his henchmen first. While these stages aren't drastically harder, it is around this point that I was grateful the game allowed not only for different difficulty options, but also allowed for you to set the number of lives and continues that you had available. The final boss will really put your skills to the test though, with bullets coming from all directions, though you can get into a bit of a pattern where you kill a few guys and then land a few hits on the statues blocking him. Also, somewhat surprisingly, he has a finite number of helpers, so taking them out first is also an option. No matter how you take this guy on, he will not go down quietly, and you'll have to kill him off twice before he finally bites the dust. And if you played this on the easy difficulty, you don't even get the proper ending. Don't you miss those days when games used to call you out for just trying to enjoy a casual playthrough? The controls are pretty standard for an action game. Y shoots your gun with the ability to fire it in all 8 directions, and B jumps. You can also hold up or down while jumping to ascend or fall through platforms. The stand-up mechanic is definitely sliding with the A button, a life-saving maneuver you're going to want to get very familiar with. The only issue with the controls I had was the occasional input being eaten. It didn't happen all that often, but I did notice it especially when I didn't have the auto-fire power-up and tried to do a quick turnaround and shoot, only to suffer a misfire. Art design here is top-notch, as you would expect for Konami in the 16-bit era. In fact, just like Turtles in Time, this game is very close to being a perfect port of the arcade version, with the only major difference being some missing animations. And the soundtrack is pretty close to perfect as well. If you asked a composer to craft you some upbeat, Wild West sounding music to go along with an action video game, it would be hard to argue that the result here isn't exactly what you were looking for, and it does a fantastic job of keeping your energy up throughout. These days you can pick up a copy of Sunset Riders on the Super Nintendo for about $70 American on eBay, though if you prefer the Genesis you can pick it up there for only around $40. Funny thing about that Genesis version though is that it's actually very different from its SNES counterpart. For starters, only Billy and Cormano are selectable characters, and the controls now include a button to shoot while walking and one that keeps you stationary while firing, but unfortunately does not include the slide move. There are actually more animations in this port compared to the SNES version. Also, levels are a bit different in that each is broken up into 2 parts, where first you rescue a damsel in distress before actually taking on the boss, though this means that only 4 of the original 8 bosses actually make an appearance. All in all, Sunset Riders on the SNES is a fantastic run and gun game for the system, a genre Konami was quite comfortable with programming as they continued to bang out top tier entries in the genre throughout the console's entire lifespan. I'm going to go ahead and give Sunset Riders 9
Marry me with my money
out of 10. Slightly better controls and implementation of 4-player simultaneous play would make this game hands down an all-time classic. But even missing a couple small details, this is definitely one you do not want to pass up on. So go ahead and grab your cowboy hat, warm up your trigger finger, and give this one a try for yourself. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you'd like to stay posted on new game reviews as I upload them, please click the subscribe button, as well as checking out the link in the description below for my Twitch channel where I stream most days. I'll talk to you all later on.